you smell what the Rock is cooking?
That's right. Jose V, Ian Bradford, Mark Hope. You're tuning to SportsX Radio, live here from Las Vegas, Nevada, from the PSPR Law Studios, 101.5 FM KDawn, and streaming live worldwide on the Audacy App. Download it today. It's completely free, free 99. You cannot complain about that. Now, we have our guest on the line. First time we have him here on SportsX Radio on the show with us. He is none other than Dean Blandino of the XFL, Vice President of Officiating and Rules and Innovation. Dean, thank you so much for giving us a few moments of your time. How you doing out there tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Awesome, man. We're honored to have you on the show, especially with this being the season one, as a lot of people are calling it now, with the XFL coming back, and so many different rules that are out there that some people are mocking on social media. Oh, the NFL needs to take notes from the XFL, but yet there's still a lot of people that don't know that a lot of these rules that you guys are trying out are for the NFL, right?
Sure. Yeah, we've got a great relationship with the NFL, and a lot of these rules. I spent a long time with the NFL in the officiating department, so I've been to a ton of competition committee meetings, league meetings, things like that, where they talk about different things. And a lot of the rules that we implemented back in 2020 and kept for the 2023 season are things that the NFL has looked at. Some teams have proposed some of these changes. And I think it's something that the NFL will continue to look at as we continue to move forward.
So you mentioned the partnership. How has that been working so far? Because I know it's not a full partnership like with players and this and that with the NFL, but there's a lot with the rules. How has that worked out with you guys so far?
Sure. Yeah, we've got a lot of communication, whether it's rules or testing. They're actually talking to us about maybe testing some new technologies that the NFL is looking at. And it's just the relationships. It's having good relationships within the league. And it's really been a great opportunity for our coaches and players and our officials, because most of our game officials are part of the NFL's development program. So when the NFL has openings in the league, they pull from this pool of officials, and the majority of our officials are in that program. So this is giving them additional snaps, additional opportunities to get better, and for the NFL, more opportunities to not just scout players, but to scout officials as well. So it's been a really just a win-win on both sides.
Dean Blandino joining us here on SportsX Radio. Our guy Ian here also has a few questions for you that he wanted to run by you.
So, Dean, there's a lot of crossover, like you said, between the NFL and the XFL. How does the XFL handle video review differently from the NFL, and what are those what do you like about that versus the NFL?
Yeah, one of the things with the XFL, it's closer to college in that every play, we're in the command center, so I have a team in the command center, and we're looking at every play, and anything that's reviewable, like we're used to, whether it's catch, no catch, or a goal line play or a fumble play, those are all things that we're looking at, and we're able to stop the game and correct something if we have an issue. But we've also given the coaches one challenge during the game where they can challenge anything, any officiating decision, any ruling, they can challenge that. And this is something that really has never been done before at any level of football, where if a coach thinks that a flag should have been thrown for holding, they can challenge that. If they got called for pass interference and they don't think it was a foul, they can challenge that. So we're doing that, and we're giving our coaches that opportunity to, if they think there's a mistake, involving officiating, they can challenge it, and if it's there, we'll correct it. So that's different from the NFL. The other thing that I think the fans have really enjoyed is the transparency. So if you watch an XFL game, you're going to see the process. You're going to see us working through the process in the command center. You're going to be able to listen in. So there's really no secrets. You may not agree with the ultimate decision every time, but you're going to know what went into the decision. You're going to be able to listen and hear us talking through our process to try to get to the right outcome. And I think that's something that, the NFL doesn't give you that level of transparency. And we really hope that that's something fans enjoy. And maybe the NFL does start to implement more of that.
So, Dean, there is one rule that I wanted to talk to you about that we finally saw this season with the Vipers going into overtime. And we saw the 3 overtime scoring rounds per team. that was a bit confusing to me. I kind of felt like I was watching an NHL hockey game and we were going into shootouts. You know what I mean? That's kind of the feel that I got to it. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the idea. I think it makes for the overtime a lot more interesting and a lot more fun. But how did that one rule come about instead of just having a normal overtime?
Yeah, that goes back when we were looking at putting in the rules for the 2020 season. We talked to a lot of different people, coaches, players, fans. And one of the things we kept hearing is that fans they want both teams to get the football, right? We've heard that with the NFL. The NFL has changed their overtime rules over the years, and they wanted each team to have the ball and not have a situation where one team could get the ball, score, and the game would be over and the other team didn't get an opportunity. So that's where it kind of started. And we felt like it would be great to just have almost like you said, like hockey, the shootout, or soccer penalty kicks, where each team just alternates, and you're going to get equal opportunities, and we're going to do a minimum of 3. And if we have a winner after 3, game over. If not, we'll continue until we get a winner. And what was interesting is we didn't have an overtime game in 2020. We actually didn't have one through the first 7 weeks of this season, and then we get 2 on back-to-back days this past weekend. So it was great to see it, and it's something that we'll look at. Once we've got a couple of games with overtime, we can take that into the off season and say, okay, do we need to tweak this? What can we do to make it even better?
Now, Dean, I know I keep on going back between the NFL and the XFL, but it's relating to the XFL. So with the NFL looking at so many kickoff returns and the safety of that, there's a huge change with the XFL and how you operate. Can you please explain kickoff rules for our listeners and what you like about that?
I love the XFL kickoff because going in, the goal, like you said, the NFL, the kickoff return has had a higher rate of injury over the course of the last, I don't know how many years, but that's been the case. And so the NFL has looked at limiting the number of kick returns, right? They've moved the spot of the kick up. You have the touchback is now the 25, things like that. So you're trying to create less returns. We felt we wanted more returns, but we wanted to make the play safer. And so 2 things. We wanted to eliminate the long run, right? The high-speed collisions that can happen on a kickoff. We wanted it to look and feel more like a regular scrimmage play. So you've got 10 players on the kicking team that are at the 35-yard line, and 10 players from the receiving team are on the 30-yard line. So they're only 5 yards apart, and the ball is kicked, and the play doesn't start until the returner actually touches the football. And at that point, both teams can leave their line, and then it just becomes a closer play where they're not these long run-ups and these high-speed collisions and these quick turns and things that can lead to injury. So we feel like we have a safer play, and there's no question we have more returns. We're returning over 90% of our kicks, and when you look at the NFL, less than 40% of kickoffs are returned. So it's worked out great so far, and we really like the kickoff rule.
Dean Blandino joining us here live on SportsX Radio. Dean, I got the rules up here, and I'm looking at all of these, the rule modifications and everything that came out with the XFL. Based off of everything that you guys have that you're using this year, what percentage of these rules are from the NFL and what percentages are natural XFL rules? And out of the rules, which ones do you feel will alternate and work best in the NFL?
Sure, yeah. So our rules, XFL rules, the foundation is NFL rules. Professional football, we wanted that to be the foundation of our rules. So I would say 85 to 90% of the XFL rules are the NFL rules. But then we looked at, a couple of tweaks. We have a couple of college rules, right? 1 foot versus 2 feet. We wanted to promote offense. We wanted, highlight real plays and things like that. So we went with that rule. We do have the college rules as they pertain to blocking downfield and linemen downfield. And then we've got our unique rules to the XFL, like the kickoff. We've got the 3-point try, right? So after a touchdown, you go for 1, you go for 2, or you can go for 3, and there's no kicks for tries. It's all run or pass. So our timing rules are a little bit different, where we're running the clock after an incomplete pass or a runner out of bounds outside 2 minutes, just to keep the game flowing. And then once we get in the last 2 minutes, the clock's the timing rules look more like what you're used to. And we feel like those rules, some of the timing rules, I think could translate, maybe not to the NFL, because I think their game is not, it's typically around 3 hours and 2 minutes, 3 hours, 3 minutes. But the college games tend to run longer, and some of the XFL timing rules could be looked at. But again, I think the kickoff is probably the biggest one where maybe it's too drastic for the NFL, but if they want to keep the return in the game and reduce the number of injuries, it's definitely a way to go.
And Dean, let me get outside of the officiating for you for a second, and just what are your and the league officials' impressions of how the XFL season has been going so far, fan reception, how the league has actually been run, attendance, and so on. How are you guys feeling about where the XFL is in this new season?
Yeah, overall, I think everybody feels good. One of the things that really interested in me in getting back involved with the XFL was the people behind it, the people that were bringing the league back. You obviously, Dwayne Johnson, Danny Garcia, they're both incredible. Redbird Capital, Jerry Cardinal, these are people that know sports, and they've been in this space. And also the football people, Russ Brandon, who was the president of the Bills for a long time, Doug Whaley, Mark Ross, these are all people that worked in the NFL for a long time. And that was really exciting. And it was going to be real football. It wasn't going to be gimmicky. It wasn't going to be, kind of way out there. And I think everybody's happy. Look, through 8 weeks, the attendance has been good. In St. Louis has been incredible. We've had good attendance in Arlington and Houston and San Antonio. And, Vegas, we've had, some challenges with the stadium and making sure that, Cashman Field is not a football stadium, but we've really turned it into something where people can go and enjoy a game. And we want to build on that. And I think the ratings have been good, and they've been fairly steady. And the football, the reception has been great, whether it's social media, the access, hearing the stories of these players and the things that they're doing to keep their dream alive. And that's what the XFL is about. It's a league of opportunities. And I think so far through 8 weeks, everybody's really excited, and we're already planning for year 2, and that's exciting.
See, I'll be 100% honest with you, okay? I followed this league when it first started back in the day with Vince McMahon and all that stuff. And then now where it's at, like you said, the gimmicks, the side shows, this, that, whatever. This league is not the XFL anymore. And what I mean by that, it's not what everyone was accustomed and used to. This is a real professional football league now. Even Rod Woodson says it all the time, head coach of the Vipers. We have guys here that need to be in the NFL, guys that don't get those opportunities that now can get that opportunity to be seen. Not only that, you have a lot of ex-NFL players that still have a lot left in the tank that are trying to get back into the league. So my overall view from covering this team here in Vegas, being able to follow the league, I think the league is in good hands for a very long time. I don't see it going anywhere. And the biggest conversation is, are they going to compete with the NFL? I don't think that's what obviously I'm not in it. You are, Dean. I don't think that the XFL is here to compete against anyone, right? You guys are just here to be your own entity at the end of the day.
That's exactly right. This is not a league and a group that wants to compete with the NFL. You're not going to compete with the NFL, right? The NFL is what it is, and it's the most popular sport in North America, and it's the most successful sports organization in North America. So you're not going to compete with them. But what we're trying to do is be a part of that ecosystem, be a part of the NFL ecosystem, where we can develop players, we can develop people. And like you said, there's players on XFL rosters that are going to be on NFL rosters. They're going to go to training camp. And some of them are going to make 53-man rosters. That's going to happen because they belong there. And that's what we're about. That's what, we want to be in that same space and be a part of this football world and just make dreams come true. And that's what I think is happening.
That's awesome, Dean. Dean, so with the playoffs and regular season, right, a lot of teams and different sports have different rules. Do you have any changes between the regular season and the playoffs? And is there any particular ones that our listeners need to know going into the playoffs?
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a great question. And there isn't. One of the things, and I know, like you said, different sports do have some things that change during the postseason. For us, we didn't have anything that we felt we needed to change for the postseason. A lot of times with most sports, it's overtime changes, right? Hockey, overtime changes. Football, overtime changes in the postseason. For us, it's going to stay the same. All of our rules from the regular season will transfer to the postseason, and we feel like that keeps the game consistent. You don't have to go learn a whole bunch of new rules or try to understand something that wasn't taking place during the regular season. And we're excited. We're excited about the postseason. We're only a couple of weeks away, and what's great is that you still have both division titles are up for grabs, and we still don't know. I think other than D.C., nobody else has clinched. D.C. and Houston, I think, have clinched playoff spots, but we don't know who's going to have the home field and who's going to be in the other two spots.
I'm excited, man. I can't wait for the playoffs to get here. It's right around the corner. Dean Blandino, head of officiating for the XFL. We greatly appreciate you joining us and gracing the mic with us for a little bit and giving us a moment of your time. Let everyone know where they can find you and anything you want people to follow you going on with the XFL.
Sure, yeah. I mean, check out the XFL on Twitter. Go to xfl.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Dean Blandino. And make sure we got games, ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, week 9's coming up. So come check it out. And if you're in any one of our cities, go to a game. And it's such a cool experience. And I appreciate you guys having me on.
Dean, we greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. You have a great night. Be safe out there and take care of yourself. And we'll definitely talk soon.
All right, take care.
Dean Blandino.